Hello everyone, Mikey here and welcome back to another respawning video. For literal decades now, I have been firmly Team PlayStation. No, I'm not one of those horrible social media mutants who feels the need to slag off Xbox and fuel some sort of console war. I've simply just not found a reason since the early days of the Xbox 360 to own one of Microsoft's consoles. The sheer number of PlayStation exclusives compared to what's been released on the green side has meant that I've not even considered picking up an Xbox. That was until the emergence of Xbox Gamepass. At first, I just saw it as a really great deal if you want to play one of the few Xbox exclusives there are, as well as catching up on some older games as well. As time has passed though, Microsoft have begun to hoover up studios such as Bethesda and Ninja Theory, meaning those games have started to appear on Game Pass. And of course, all future releases from those studios will come straight to the service as well as very likely being exclusive to Xbox. It doesn't stop with Xbox Game Studios either. Last week, it was confirmed that long-time PlayStation exclusive MLB The Show would be available day one on Game Pass, just like Outriders was recently. There's no doubt that the Netflix of video games as it's called is making some big moves, and no matter what Sony say publicly, there's little doubt they're looking on with envy. And I personally believe it's just a matter of time until PlayStation hit back with their own take on Game Pass. How will they go about it though? Here's how I would play it. Yes, that's right people, I'm fantasy booking a PlayStation Game Pass.
Can you kill something that big?
First up, I'd ditch PlayStation Now. Like, right now. Some people already see PlayStation Now as Sony's answer to Game Pass, but anybody who has actually tried the service will know that this isn't the case, because you can't even compare the two. For one, the library of games just isn't there on PlayStation Now, and even when there are some decent additions, they don't stick around for very long. For example, Uncharted games will come and go, whereas Halo games aren't going anywhere on Game Pass. Not ever. Also, let's be honest, anybody who is subscribed to PS Now will almost certainly have PlayStation Plus, where most of the big PlayStation exclusives have already been added, and you get to keep those. For me personally, and for many others, the only reason I had to try PS Now was to play some of the older PS3 titles, but given they aren't backwards compatible, the only option is to stream them, and that's always been a disaster, much like the service as a whole to be honest. It's got a bad reputation, and trying to salvage the brand or turn it into something else just seems like Sony would be starting on the back foot. So yeah, I'd scrap it and go with a brand new name. Now, I'm not suggesting we actually call this PlayStation Game Pass, that would be ridiculous. Make sure to add your title suggestions in the comments below, I'm sure one of you guys can think of something clever, way more clever than I could. Next up, I'd make a controversial move and remove the option to buy older games from the store, therefore creating demand for those titles. As many of you already know, Sony kind of already made this move by removing all Vita and PS3 games from their online store recently. Now, this will be a great idea if they have somehow found a way to make these games playable by downloading them to your PS5 on this new dream PlayStation Game Pass. Just imagine being able to play nearly every PS3, PSP and PS Vita title on day one of this new Game Pass service. Given PlayStation's back catalogue, this would be a huge deal. I realise this is a big ask, given the way Sony chose to build their older consoles, but if they want to compete with Xbox, then they need to find a way.
You're gonna keep going, aren't you? For what? Treasure?
Admit it. You love all this as much as I do.
After that, I'd make sure to fill out this massive library with hundreds of PS1 and PS2 titles. I think there's a big demand for nostalgia out there right now, and having the option to play the original Metal Gear Solid at any time can only be a positive. However, they need to make sure there's literally hundreds of these, because just look at the backlash the mini PlayStation Classic received a few years back. It was a great idea that people seem to be crying out for, but with only 20 games to choose from, it failed. Next up, I'd make sure that every PlayStation exclusive from at least the last decade is included. This isn't too far-fetched, as Sony pretty much already did this with the PS Plus collection on PS5. Basically, make sure all of those games are included and you're golden. Even with Xbox's new studios, PlayStation undoubtedly still leads the pack on killer exclusives with the likes of Uncharted, God of War, The Last of Us, Horizon, Spider-Man, Ghost of Tsushima, Days Gone. I could go on and on. So what I'm trying to get at is, why not use these titles? Game Pass may be more established, but if every PlayStation exclusive is available on their version of Game Pass on day one for the same price, then to me, PlayStation instantly has the better deal. This leads me nicely onto my next move: match Xbox Game Pass on price points. Sony have been guilty on more than one occasion of being overly confident with how they market new products, and I would not put it past them to create a better library of games only to go and alienate people with a monthly cost that is much higher than the competition. Even if the plan in the long term is to be more expensive, they'd have to take a hit for at least the first year just to get people on board, in my opinion. Just look at Disney Plus. I can almost guarantee their exclusive shows are more expensive to make than Netflix's are. But entering that market at a higher price point than the market leader would be instant suicide, and Disney knew it. Hopefully, Sony know it too.
Whoa! Let's not shoot each other, alright?
Last but not least, I'd time the launch of this new service alongside a monster release which is available on day one. Just imagine how must-buy a PlayStation Game Pass would feel if they were able to offer something like God of War RAGNARÖK on the day of release. It would be a true game changer. It is difficult to see them actually doing this though, as Sony know full well the value in a game of that size. It would be a gigantic service seller for sure, but they'd also be leaving a lot of money on the table, given how many of us would gladly part with 70 quid for a game like that. I mean, I know I would, so why would they give it to me for like £10 a month? This has always been the issue though. Whether it's PlayStation Plus, which in fairness I do love, or PlayStation Now, it always feels like Sony never goes the full distance with these services, and it kinda still feels like they leave one foot set firmly in the past. There are some small signs of this changing though. Whether that's the PS5 games such as Destruction All-Stars, or more recently Oddworld Soulstorm, that have all come to PlayStation Plus on release day, or whether it's just how much they seem to be pushing PlayStation Now these days. Sony definitely appear to have one eye on the future, even if we're not sure exactly how that future looks right now. Fingers crossed, it looks a little something like I've just put into place. But hey, we'll see. So anyway, there we have it. Do you agree with how I'd push out my version of PlayStation Game Pass? And do we think there's even a chance such a thing could even exist? Also, I want to know how you would do it. Maybe you decide to make it a service that's also available on PC. That could be a good move. Let me know your thoughts on all of this and more in the comments below, and I'll get back to you. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe as well. It would be much appreciated and helps out a lot. Also, remember to check out our website for all the latest news and reviews at respawning.co.uk, and to keep up with everything we're doing, make sure you're following us over on the socials, at Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. All of them, you can find us by just searching Respawning UK. Once again, thanks for watching. I've been Mikey, and I shall catch you next time.